I've been telling Steve for 6 months about Detroit, about they can't shoot, where's the secondary offense, and now he sees the light today by telling me Detroit can't make any baskets. How many times have I said that about Detroit this year? 100%.
He had Detroit wiping the floor with the Knicks.
Oh, he loved Detroit.
Doggy, you're absolutely right.
Oh, you were absolutely right.
I still am.
Oh, come on, doggy.
You guys are making such a big deal. They beat the Orlando Magic, who fired their head coach.
They beat the Cavs last night. What are you talking about?
Cleveland almost lost to Toronto, for crying out loud. And
That's
Toronto's
not the issue.
Good. You guys got to calm down in the Pistons. You especially now. Now you're going the other way. All year the Pistons are great. Then all of a sudden I'm the God's gift of basketball. Chris, you're 100% right. And now you're going to go the other way and tell me, Chris, the Pistons are... You can't have it 3 different ways, Steve. I'll give you 2, not 3.
Let me tell you this. Let me tell you something. I'm still nervous about the Detroit Pistons. I'm still nervous. Let me tell you. First of all, Tobias Harris, who we've all known for decades, one of the true class acts in professional sports. That brother has turned it up a notch and has shown up in these playoffs and has been that secondary option since Detroit was down 3-1. That's why they really won the series. Cade Cunningham's going to be Cade Cunningham. He's a superstar in this league. The brother's special, all right? But we were looking for somebody to show up and to help them. And Tobias Harris has been that dude. People were saying it was supposed to be Jalen Durham. No, it wasn't going to be him. It was Tobias Harris who dropped 30 in the Game 7. If you have a secondary scorer, remember, toughness is not an issue with Detroit. Defense is not an issue with Detroit. Athleticism is not an issue with Detroit. Detroit's lone issue is finding a secondary scorer. Once you have that secondary scorer, you got the road to the finals has to come through Detroit in all likelihood. You see, they ain't at the Palace in Auburn Hills, an hour away from downtown anymore. They downtown. And I haven't been there yet. But to see that atmosphere, I mean, that's a real home court advantage. I'm not underestimating them. I just love the fact that Mike Brown did something that I never thought would happen. He took the ball away from Jalen Brunson. He gave it to Cade. Cade's been a point center, doggy. And point center and having the offense run through him and Jalen Brunson moving without the basketball, having more opportunities created for himself. Mikal Bridges suddenly hitting 7 to 10 shots. I mean, who would have thunk it? I'm like, what? This is a miracle. OG balling, no surprise there. Karl Anthony Towns balling, proud of him. But I didn't expect to see that switch from Mike Brown. And Mike Brown is showing why they made the switch from Thibodeau to him, because even though you knew there was going to be slippage defensively, Wendy, you were expecting an upgrade offensively, and finally we're seeing it.
I'm just going to say my favorite thing about the NBA is the drama of a playoff series, the twists and turns and the back and the forth. You just showed Shea video from April 29th, last Wednesday. What are these dudes going to be saying on what is it? Going to be May 13th when they think, well, maybe the Knicks are up 3-0. Maybe that series is over. Maybe the Knicks are down. Maybe the Pistons have won. I don't know. Here's what I'm going to say. Embrace the I don't know. That's what we love about it.
Doggy, are you willing to say maybe you were wrong about the Pistons? What's it going to take?
Absolutely not. Go to the NBA final.
Okay.
Beat the Knicks.
All right, they got to win.
That's not right, doggy. That's not right. That's not right.
Yes,
if they get to the conference finals, you got to give them credit.
Pistons last night. Donovan Mitchell has 23 points in 35 minutes. Only went to the free throw line 1 time. The Pistons had 35 foul shots. The Cavs had 16. Mitchell was frustrated after the game with the officiating and the difference in calls that each team was getting. I want you to hear what he said.
A friend of mine got fined for talking about flop, so I'm not going to try to double down. But, I mean, like, I feel like that's what I got to do at this point. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to get downhill, trying to get to the bucket, and sometimes my people are in my way, and I'm trying to fight through contact, and I'm just not getting the calls. I don't know why. It's frustrating a little bit, but because I'm such a dynamic driver, right? Like, but I can't control that. So if I'm not going to call for me, I got to find a way to finish through that. But you know me, I'm never one to sit here and complain, and that's not why we lost the game tonight or whatever. But at some point in time, I feel like me getting to the basket's got to relate to something. You know what I'm saying? So
So what do we think of that? There's a number of different angles that I can see going here, but I'm going to start with you, the esteemed Michael Wilbon. When you hear him after the game last night, what goes through your mind?
45 years worth of covering the playoffs and off-day talk. But you'd like to have somebody do it for you. You know, when you're the star player, you'd like to have somebody else do that.
Like your coach.
Like your coach. Or if there's a player, you know, in New York and Chicago, we saw like Charles Oakley would often be that guy, where the star player wouldn't have to do it. You know, you'd have an enforcer who did that. That player is like in the NHL. That player sort of disappeared now.
Right.
So the coach has to do it. And I thought Donovan walked the line pretty well there, where he said, okay, I'm not going to complain about it while complaining about it. But let's see how this is officiated. The other thing is, wow, we used to see wild swings in foul calls one game to another in NBA series. And there were series at the beginning of this century that were embarrassing in the way these calls went from game to game. I remember a Sacramento Lakers series, which is famous for that. There's less of that now. There's more accountability, the officials to each other, to the league office. You know, I don't know that we're going to see a wild swing in foul calls, Greeny, tonight.
Here's why. Half of Cleveland's shots last night came from the three-point line.
Well,
Also, you can't get to the line if you're shooting threes. And Donovan's point is different than Cleveland's point, right? Donovan got to the line 10 times a game. Last year during the playoffs, 9-game sample size. This year, 2.5 times a game.
You took it right from me. Because you know what would have made that case a lot stronger? If he could have pointed to that Toronto series and said, I was going to the line 6 times. Maybe not even the 9 from the regular season.
Yeah.
In the last 4 games of that series, 8 free throws total. So, this is not just an officiating thing. To the stat that we saw earlier, Donovan has not turned his playoff corner in the traditional way that we're used to seeing.
Because there's different officials in every single game, and they all have different sets of eyes.
Yeah.
If it's a one-game thing, you can say maybe that crew. But if in the micro, it could be one thing. The macro tells a different story.
But I want to bring up something because I think there's a bigger point here, and this is something that I don't think that everyone watching us will understand. But you said it in our meeting this morning, and I think it was interesting, and I want to hear Wilbon's reaction about how players feel about playoff basketball relative to regular season basketball.
I talked to a player last year, and he said to me, the regular season is like exhibition games. The playoff basketball is a completely different sport. And that's what you're seeing in the way it's officiated and the physicality of it.
Always has been.
We like watching it, but we don't have elbows in our necks as we're driving down the lane. I prefer this brand of basketball, mind you. And it prefers physical teams as opposed to other teams. But yeah, I'm not surprised at this at all.
So, but the point that you're making is the players, they want to talk about postseason basketball. They don't really like playing postseason basketball. They're used to getting those calls. They're used to doing that. My point is, these are things that get called during the regular season that don't get called now, and that might be one of the reasons you're hearing all of these players every single night. It's a different player saying, whether it was Jaylen Brown the other day, Devin Booker last week, whoever. I've lost track now. It feels like every other day there's another player talking
Greeny,
about the
there's a great tradition of this.
Right.
You know, there's so much more. First of all, everybody's got a podcast to complain about it.
That's true.
Oh, Wilbon.
Huh? No, I mean, guys, so we're going to go back again for a second to some of the greatest players ever. They had these same observations, I won't call them complaints, on off days. There's 6 people covering the playoffs. There's no social media.
Right.
Social media. I remember after a great Pistons Celtics series when there was controversy about Rodman and Bird and Isaiah. I remember Isaiah talking to like 6 or 8 people covering the whole series. He might talk for an hour about this. And the exchanges were different between media and players. But it was, you think Chuck Daly and Pat Riley and Phil Jackson weren't every bit as competitive and as combative as these coaches. Chris Finch remembers what they did. He might have studied some tape on that. Then you can go back to Red Auerbach. This is what happened. So now there's so many. Again, I go back to, Monica's going to kill me for that reference.
That's a good reference.
No, but I mean, everybody has a platform now to talk about this. It's fun for us to react to. We get to react to way more stuff than those players had to subject themselves to in previous decades.
Final word.
It's par for the course. I think the adage of they can't call them all, it seems to favor the team that is more physical. But most of the time, you just hear coaches and players say, however it's going to be, make it even on both sides. So get to the rim and flop it.
They ask for consistency, but consistency ends the night that the next referee crew begins.
Right.
That's what changes.
But I mean, look, the reality is we'll all be watching to see how many foul calls Donovan Mitchell gets, and we'll all be watching to see how many times they're called goaltending.
The stakes are
on
higher.
Victor
This is why we
Wembanyama
love
tonight.
playoff basketball.
Coming up, the process looking for a payback. Can Joel play well on Broadway and even up?